Welcome back to another video. My name's Alpha, and well, an interesting video popped up in my recommended, which was top 10 worst Pokemon design, which I found questionable from the track record of this specific channel that made this video. They, in my opinion, do not make the best opinionated list, but I gave it a chance, and now, well, you're here, so let's begin.
For this list, we'll be looking at the Pokemon from across all generations that hold the distinct honor of having the most bizarre, ugly, and unimpressive aesthetics in the whole franchise.
Okay, so being bizarre, ugly, and unimpressive is the criteria to make the list. So that's their criteria to make the list. Let's see.
Number 10, Binacle.
Binacle is the first on the list. Fair, their opinion, but how they reason this decision to add it on the list is the issue.
We just can't see past how dumb he looks. What is this? A pair of hands sprouting out of a rock? He looks more like Doug Trio's twice removed cousin during an extremely rebellious phase.
He makes an odd joke about Binacle being Doug Trio's lost cousin, whatever. Then further talks about Barbarical being barely cool enough. But that's the inconsistency.
The fact his evolved form comes across as barely passable in the coolness department.
How come Binacle and Barbarical are being ridiculed for being ugly, while the Pokemon you just compare it to is just as ugly and unimpressive? It's just 3 angry Digletts. Fair to say if you like Diglett over Binacle, but to say Barbarical is just barely cool enough, while nothing critical is said about Doug Trio is not miles cooler than Barbarical. Well, it's just 3 angry Digletts in one Pokemon. You don't get to see the bottom of Digletts or Doug Trio's, you get to see the bottom of Binacle, so you know more about its design than Doug Trio. What is cooler, 3 angry Digletts or a monster with 4 Binacle as limbs and in the palm of a hand? You know, it doesn't sound that impressive, but if you look at side by side, I'm pretty sure you could tell which is more awe-inspiring. I'm not saying they can't have their opinion, I'm just saying they shouldn't be allowed it.
Number 9, Jinx.
Oh, the ugly Jinx cliche. Bring up Mr. Mime then. They both ugly. They cut from the same cloth. Ugly is ugly. I actually like them both. But if you're gonna say Jinx is ugly, Mr. Mime is definitely on the same boat. You know what? I'll let them have it.
Number 8, Minior.
And this part of the list actually made me want to make this video. I glanced over the video initially, but when I heard Minior was put on this list as the ugly design or worst design Pokemon.
In its Meteor form, the design just comes across as rather uninspired. Maybe we could have seen this working if it was just some kind of alternate evolution to a previous ice Pokemon like Glalie.
Mind you that this is coming from the channel that didn't say anything critical about Doug Trio when they brought it up. The 3 angry Diglett Pokemon.
While the core form looks a little too off.
Also saying the core form is a bit off. That's a great critique. Imagine you're turning in your essay, right? And your professor grades it right in your face with a failing grade. Then leans back and says, well, that's a bit off. The core design of it is to show the 2 forms of Minior. Minior has a more defensive form, which is a dull shell. It protects its inner core, you know. And when it goes to half HP, it breaks out a shell and shines brighter. I mean, I guess that could be a metaphor for life.
Number 7, Probopass.
Okay, I skipped over number 8, which was Probopass. He didn't like it because it had a mustache.
Number 6, Vanilluxe.
Cool. Shave. I don't know. Next was Vanilluxe, ice cream Pokemon. People don't like ice cream. You know, the big Westerner made an ice cream Pokemon. Haha, Western part of the world is obese. He didn't add that part, but I did. You know, it's kind of funny, like how the first Westerner designer for Game Freak made the ice cream Pokemon, and people tie that to obesity, even though this guy was British.
Number 5, Delmise. Someone over at Nintendo must really have a thing for turning random objects into Pokemon.
Now people start shit talking Delmise, saying it's just an anchor and a wheel. I mean, it's a ghost type Pokemon.
The idea of a ghost ship type Pokemon certainly sounds like an intriguing premise, but when the monster in question is literally just an anchor stuck to a captain's wheel, it doesn't quite have the same impact, especially since it's without any kind of evolution or anything else outside of making spooky sounds.
It's fair to not like it if you don't like inanimate objects, but then you don't say anything else about the other inanimate objects that are Pokemons, like Klefki or the Rotom appliances. Those are just household items that are Pokemon, and no critique is given that way. There's more reasons to hate Delmise besides that, more so that its typing is weird. I like it I would like it to be Steel and Ghost, cooler typing, because an anchor is metal. But I understand the typing is because the algae on it is the sentient part. But come on, Steel Ghost, you know, it's cool.
Number 4, Melton.
I'll let Watchmojo have this one as well. Melton, not a fan of it, nor his evolution. Think it's a bit nutty in design. No, I haven't gotten to use it, so I don't really have an opinion on it. Think it's alright. Like, I've seen worse. I've seen better design-wise.
Oh, come on, Black and White. Now you're just embarrassing yourself.
And then second to last was Cryogonal, which is odd. He brings up that it will possibly work if it was an alternate evolution. I'm not sure how it being a part of an evolutionary line would help it look less ugly, bizarre, or more impressive.
But as by itself, it's nothing more than a poor replacement that lacks any kind of evolutionary form. Not to mention looking like something that should be decorating a Christmas tree instead of taking part in Pokemon battles.
Saying just by itself is just a Christmas decoration, which I mean, if it was in an evolutionary line, it would still be a Pokemon, right? Like, just because there's an evolutionary line doesn't mean this Pokemon's design changes if you just want to add an evolutionary line. Like, that doesn't really make sense to me.
On paper, the Ultra Beasts sound like an awesome idea. A bunch of interdimensional Pokemon on par with the legendaries of any region. How do you mess something like that up? By going so far outside the box, you forget to make them look like actual Pokemon, and instead have them appear as characters you would find in a gallery of body horror.
The number one spot will really annoy a lot of people. He says on paper, Ultra Beasts are cool because they are interdimensional Pokemons that are on par with some legendaries, but then turns around and says they messed up because they don't look like Pokemon. Look, I dislike this argument because one, anything is a Pokemon that is categorized by Game Freak as a Pokemon. We as consumers don't get to dictate what is and isn't a Pokemon. We can't just say Magikarp is a Pokemon, but Regigigas is not a Pokemon. Whatever they make and whatever is in their games is a Pokemon. And secondly, they're fucking aliens. They're not from the same dimension as other Pokemons. Of course they're gonna look different and odd. They're from fucking space. Like, what are you even trying to argue here? They even said it themselves that these Pokemons are aliens.
Blacephalon, who looks like some sort of alien clown with a polka-dotted bowling ball for a head.
It looks like some sort of alien clown, almost like it's an alien. Whoever made this dumbass list and this dumbass script from Watchmojo. I don't really mind this video. They made their video, but on the same energy they added on a public domain, so it's open for his own critique. Again, they can have their own opinion. Just wanted to make these type of videos as well as my regular videos. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means a whole lot. As well, let me know your list of ugly Pokemons down below as well. Anyways, my name is Alpha, and I'm out.